Good day, everybody. Welcome to Canadian music in the 80s and 90s and more. Um, uh, hope you like what you're seeing. If you do, please subscribe and say you like it. Um, well, this is something I've been waiting to get for a long time. I've got a member of Glass Tiger with me today, Sam Reid. Thank you very much for joining me.
Thanks for having me, Alan.
First of all, let's talk about what I really want to talk about. You guys are about to go back on the road again. Um, I guess this is the second half of this Island Earth tour.
That's correct. Yeah, we did the first leg heading into the holidays, took a break, and the middle of March we start. There's a sprinkling of Ontario dates, and then we head in your direction.
Yes, looking forward to seeing you coming out to the like you guys are. I'm looking at the cities you're playing. Like you guys really do a Canadian tour. Like,
I wish there was. I mean, the way it's such a big country and it's such an amazing country. Even though that we are trying to kind of fit it in as best we can, there are still fans in places like we're not getting to Newfoundland on this tour. Well,
okay.
so it's like it's not really coast to coast if you can't get all the way to Newfoundland. So we're doing our best, and we will come back. Obviously, yeah.
Um, so are you still is Erica M still coming out with you?
Erica is on. She has done the first part of the tour. She's on part of the second half, so
Okay.
she will be doing the Ontario dates and the Eastern dates with us. And then we head all the way opposite. We head out to Victoria, and she won't be with us for the that last Western leg of the tour.
Okay. What's it like been having her on the road with you?
Well, we have a long standing relationship with Erica because of our close connection to Much Music,
Right.
and of course, when the band started out, videos were just becoming one of the most popular things to do, and the record company we were one of those bands that did I think 14 or 16 music videos in our day, and of course, the prime video channel in Canada was Much Music and Music Plus in Quebec, and they were a big part of promoting the band, and we spent a lot of time with Eric on air.
Yeah, for sure. I've always said in a lot of my interviews and stuff I do how much music did a lot for the Canadian music back in the day. Because I've always said you used to watch it and you guys were right in there with all the top stars of the day. You'd see a Madonna video followed by Glass Tiger and Pursuit of Happiness, and I thought you guys were as big as superstars as they were.
Well, it's great to be in that group of artists performing on the radio and, of course, on TV. So, yeah, it's great. And Canada's very well represented in those channels.
For sure. Do you have an opening band as well? I know I saw the Kings were opening a couple of shows for you.
No, we did a Casino Rama here in
Oh,
Ontario.
okay.
The Kings, again, we have a long relationship with those guys, and they jumped on board and did a show with us here. But it's just the Glass Tiger tour with Erica opening up, doing a lovely little retro moment in her own style,
Right.
and walk down memory lane. A little glimpse of her Much Music days,
Yeah.
and then we'll come out and play a full show.
What kind of stuff would you be touching on material wise? Are you doing the whole gambit or is it anything particular that you're
Well, we always like to give everyone, the songs that they know us for. So, I mean, I've been to see other artists, and sometimes they bury their hits in the middle of other things and that. At this point, we know our fan base. We know everybody wants to sing "My Town" and "Someday" and "Don't Forget Me," and so it'll be a walk down memory lane for all the songs that you know. We will throw a couple of little surprises in, a couple of songs that we haven't performed live, a couple that we've never performed live, and certainly a few that we haven't performed in 20 or 30 years. So we'll just kind of mix it up a little bit there.
is that hard to do when you pick a song you haven't played in a long time? Do you have to go back and practice?
You wouldn't believe how much practice. You think after 40 years we wouldn't need practicing, but it just, some of it's muscle memory, but then when you throw those little left curveballs in there, then yes, we had to dig deep and get together like the old days and get back in the rehearsal room and get prepped.
Like, so what are some of the songs that you would dig back into that you haven't played in like maybe 20 or 30 years or something like that? Like, I can think of one from
Okay.
Diamond Sun. My favorite song from Diamond Sun was Send Your Love.
Right, right. Well, Send Your Love isn't in the show. God, I think we have played that back in maybe 86, 87, and that. But the tour, of course, is called This Island Earth. That's a song that we really never performed live,
Yeah.
and it's in our show, and it's the title of the tour because we love the name. And there's a song called Looking at a Picture.
Mhm.
Uh, and that one, we played it once in Ontario Place in 1987. And we're really enjoying playing that song. It's a little off the radar. And there's a couple of, there's a little lovely little acoustic moment in the show as well where we get to strip it down for a moment and kind of go bare bones and then full band again. So it's a little different than what we would perform sort of at a festival or something. It's a little more up close and personal.
Have you guys ever done the thing where you've like done a whole album, like like an anniversary? Like a lot of people are doing anniversary tours of like classic albums that they did and going back and playing the whole album front to back. Is that something you guys have ever done or would consider doing?
We've talked about that, and I love the idea. One of the bands that I know have done that, and I was a huge fan, was Rush,
Yeah,
and I remember going to see Rush live a number of times, and it was always exciting because, of course, they had what 20, 30 albums.
yeah,
It was always exciting to see what they were going to do to fill the night because any one of those combinations, if you're a Rush fan, were amazing. So
yeah,
I remember seeing an interview with Geddy Lee where he said one of their big tasks is trying to figure out what to do and how to change it up and give everybody, a mix. And of course, when you have that much content, but yeah, we would consider that. We talked about maybe doing like the entire Thin Red Line album live or something like that. That would be fun. That would be fun.
yeah. I think it is anyway. I know the Rush tour you were talking about. I remember the one where they did all of Moving Pictures live, and I wasn't going to go see them because I'd seen them like 8 times before, but I was like, no, I think I got to see that.
Absolutely, they're one of the bands you never know what they're going to do. Yeah.
And they started touring without an opening act for the last few years because they had so much material to choose
They can
from.
play for 3 nights straight and not repeat a song.
Yeah, one of those bands. Well, I'm glad to see that you're a big fan of theirs too. Um,
100%. Yeah.
you probably toured with a lot of the great Canadian bands over the years. Who are some that stick out with you?
We've been fortunate enough to tour with a lot of Canadian bands and international bands because
Yeah,
outside of Canada, our manager's idea to get us more exposure in the world instead of us slogging it out in smaller bars, we were put onto a lot of bigger tours with bigger audiences. Like we toured with Journey and Tina Turner and Cheap Trick and Moody Blues. In Canada, we toured with Honeymoon Suite in the early days. They were out and we weren't yet, and so we toured with them and Corey Hart and Roxette.
wow,
So
yeah,
lots of Julian Lennon.
wow. That's a lot. That's a good cross section of
Yeah, yeah,
artists, Canadian and international. Wow, that's great.
100%. Yeah.
Do you mind if I go back to your musical journey a little bit? Like, where did you start playing music? Like, how old were you when you were like, I can't just listen to music. I gotta learn to play too.
Well, the short version of this story is when I was about 5 years old, my parents, actually a bit younger than that even, my parents took me to the doctor because I thought I had a hearing impediment. I had because I would lay in the house with my ear against the speaker. We had a shortwave radio, and she took me to the doctor, and the doctor said, "There's nothing wrong with your son's hearing. I suggest piano lessons." So,
Yeah.
so I got started in piano when I was 5, and the doctor said, "No, he just doesn't want to listen to you. He wants to do music." And so there you go. My parents were music lovers, but neither one of them performed or played an instrument. But they put me in piano lessons at 5 years old, and I went through the Royal Conservatory classical piano. And then when I was about 13, I took a bit of a left turn and joined a rock band. So
And here you are,
here I am,
still in a rock band. That's
40
awesome.
years later. Yeah,
Yeah, so you obviously love it.
yeah.
But I mean, I was a big fan of yours right off the start. Like, I mean, the first time I heard "Don't Forget Me," I was like, wow, what a catchy song. What a great hook to it. Like, I mean, and I remember going out and buying the cassette right away. That's how old I am. I bought the cassette. But and really liking the whole album. And I'm like, and these guys are Canadian. That's even better. And then you didn't have the sophomore jinx because I think Diamond Sun was even better. It's one of my
Yeah,
favorite records.
yeah, it's a challenge too. When you hit large, like Don't Forget Me hit, even though we'd slogged it out in the clubs and it took us a long time to get to that single,
Yeah,
that was when the whole nation woke up to the band. And of course, they were like, "Wow, where'd you guys come from?" Well, we've been slogging it out, but out under the radar,
yeah.
and um, and it's hard to repeat and keep it fresh. So we're very very fortunate that we've had enough singles out that we've done a cross section, and then the follow up Diamond Sun album we're very very proud of, and Simple Mission again the third album.
Yeah.
Get rockier, but we still are really fond. And in our live show, we'll play a cross section of all those albums.
That's yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing that. Because I'm out here in Charlottetown and it's great to see you come to Charlottetown because it's great to see a band of your stature come here. But we were talking off air a little bit. You were supposed to play a festival here again 2 summers ago, and you had some issues and had to back out. But it seems like you're making up for it by coming back to Charlottetown.
Yeah, well, if it was wrapped up in any of the COVID stuff that was going on, I mean, a lot of the everybody's lives got turned upside down, and certainly the music industry, it's kind of the first to shut down and last to start up. So we did lose, unfortunately, a lot of shows, as most bands did, and it might have get caught in that whirlwind. But boy, oh boy, it's nice to be back out, though.
Yeah, we're really looking forward to seeing you here in Charlottetown. It's always a big deal when a big band like you guys come to Charlottetown. It gets the whole town going
We
here
love we
because
love the East Coast. I mean, we just have great memories. My dad's from Newfoundland. I'm sorry that I'm not going to see. I have family in Newfoundland that are not happy with me. Uh, but unfortunately, this tour doesn't get us all the way over. So but the East Coast in general, we always have a blast, and it's a lot of fun. We're looking forward to it, and we are way overdue coming back.
the one thing I really like to promote on my channel and my Facebook group for that matter is that bands like yourselves still keep making music and you still keep writing, you still keep recording and not just touring. You don't rest on your laurels, and I've always been a fan of that because I like hearing new music come from these bands and stuff like that. Like, is that something you guys can't plan to keep on doing, like writing new stuff and recording?
Well, I think as songwriters, you always obviously you mature over the years, so your songwriting evolves. But you just because you've had a couple of hits and you can just sit back and kind of roll along like that. We still love writing music, and we have lots of ideas. So at this point, and Al Conley writes, Alan, myself, we're at least the three of us in the core in the band are continually writing music. As a matter of fact, one of the big surprises that you'll see on this tour is after 40 years, we're going to do a song of Al Connolly's that Al Connolly sings.
Oh,
So that
oh,
has never happened. There's never been another vocalist in the band singing, even though we do backup in that. So we're having some fun with that. And there's some really, really cool ideas still in the pipeline here to come out.
I'm looking. That's going to be something to hear. I really look forward to hear that. And sorry, have you recorded it?
We have not, so it's live. This is we plugged it into the show, and of course we're thinking we're enjoying this tour so much and the song selection. We may see if we can put together a live album from this tour, which would be a nice keepsake at the end of the tour for people who want to experience the tour and maybe want a keepsake, or they want to listen in on the live because it sounds really good. The band's playing really strong, so we're happy.
That was leading to my next question, whether you guys would actually consider doing a live album, and it's good to hear that's not out of the question. So,
We have a few recordings. I'm the band's pack rat, so this is my recording studio here, and of course I'm the collector. So I have really cool live recordings from Europe, and we did a lovely show in 2018 at Massey Hall, which we filmed. I'd like to see that come out on at least on our YouTube channel. But I've been listening. I'm actually in the studio right now going over the live audio from the first part of this tour, and I think it's really strong. And I'm in the process of putting together a mix to do an album release. I think that'll be a lot of fun to do that at the end of this tour.
Oh, great to hear. It's something to really look forward to. Um, yeah, I hope you get a good enough audience in Charlottetown that'll
I'm
make
sure
you.
it'll be great.
Yeah. Oh, I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait to see. I think I've seen you at a festival in the 90s, maybe in Mississauga. You did our waterfront festival once,
We
and
did.
I
Yes.
remember being pretty pretty impressed with your live stuff. Like, because I like the way you're not exactly like the album. There's a bit of a difference, and it's got like an edge, more rawness to it, and I like the sound of the
Yeah,
live
I mean,
better.
live always has that energy that yeah, you can't bottle that. That's just, and that comes from the audience as well. It's a package deal, and so I think I look forward to, for the live tour because I think the audience and this live album would be a lot of fun because it'll give you a snapshot into how we sound live.
And something you haven't done before, so that'd be
That's
something to
correct.
hear. Because I
Yeah.
mean, you've reworked some of your old hits and stuff like that. I've heard some of the recordings where I think I heard you do my song with Alan Doyle, and
Yeah. Yeah. We played around with some fun stuff. Yeah. Yeah. So, it'd be good.
do you like to rework some of the old hits like a little bit for the live show?
It's challenging because like you're not trying to you're not trying to record it the same way, but it's really established in your head. So you got to keep your melodies, keep your lyrics, and we had fun, and it gave us an opportunity to give it a more of a Celtic mix. And of course, like somebody like Alan Doyle, he
Yeah.
played some concertina and sang on it, and it really gives it an East Coast charm to it, which so that we enjoyed a lot.
Because you can. I mean, if you first did that song with the Chieftains,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
that really gave it a real Celtic kind of an earthy flavor to it, which was something I'd never heard from you guys before at the time too. And
Yeah.
it's one of your biggest hits. And then I guess working with a guy like Jim Valance didn't help at the start either, did it? Like it would probably did a lot for you guys to have someone of that stature to get you started on your first record.
100%. I mean, he started off as a co-writer to write some songs, and it grew into a production role because we love working with him so much, and we were just clicking. So by the time we finished writing "Someday" and "Don't Forget Me" and other songs, we just hit it off with Jim, and I think that made him feel motivated to produce the album. And he's meticulous. I mean, he's just all
Yeah.
around talent. One of the guys can kind of pick up any instrument and just play.
Did he dragged you out to Vancouver to record most of that, didn't he?
We did. That we started. That's how we got to meet him. We got sent out to write a couple of things with him, and on the first day, within the first half a day, we wrote "Don't Forget Me" and "Someday" with him.
That's another thing I'm trying to get motivated enough to do. I want to do a little thing about some of the famous recording studios here in Canada,
Hmm.
like Morin Heights in Quebec, which I think you guys have recorded at before.
Yeah, and
Um,
unfortunately, not there anymore.
and Metalworks and Vancouver had some of the most
Yeah,
legendary studios in Canada, like Little Mountain Sound and Mushroom Studios. I don't know if you recorded at those.
Little Mountain for sure, and yeah, and there's some other studios there. Jim Valance actually opened a studio called the Armory, and it's I've not recorded there, but it's a beautiful studio. I'd love to work there.
Yeah, maybe I can interview you about that, about some of the
Yeah,
studios someday.
I'd love to
Um,
get out there.
yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing you here in Charlottetown. Thanks for coming here. It's nice to know that we're not forgotten out here on the red dirt ball. Uh,
It's all good. We just got to get rid of some of this snow out here in Ontario so we can get the plane off the ground.
well, I'm hoping by March we're start getting a little turnover
All
of the
right.
weather. So,
Yeah.
because I think Ontario's gotten worse weather than we've gotten
It's
here this year.
crazy. The winter I haven't seen in decades. Yeah.
And that's the best time to tour, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll be in the bus soon enough.
I can't thank you enough for joining me. It means a great deal, especially with a Canadian group that I do here. So, you guys are the ultimate Canadian band. So it's great to have you come and chat with me. I really appreciate your time.
Well, thank you very much, Alan. We look forward to seeing you in Charlottetown.
Take care, sir.
All right. Cheers.